Good morning, Miss MiaMichelle. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So let's talk about your office. Tell me, where are you trying to work these days with this?
So my office, I live in a loft. So I actually have in our bedroom or whatever. Then I have like a little loft area where I typically work. With all of this and everybody being home, it's usually just my husband and I, or maybe my older son, and he's in his room, and everybody's gone or whatever. But now that everyone's home, my daughter is here as well. So she's usually in. Sometimes she's in the loft, and sometimes but she's really been staying in the living room. But then her stuff has been spread everywhere. So I kind of like had to put her stuff in one area. So when I show you what's in my office, there's a little blanket over all her stuff.
You know what though? You got to do what you got to do. I mean, during these times, I mean, how many times though have people had to house more than their usual household during other times? You know, whether it's a
Right,
move or, I mean, come on, let's face it, we've had natural disasters before. Stuff happens.
right. And we're making
So,
it work. And my kids are,
yeah.
I mean, we're super flexible. We all respect each other's space and we support each other a lot. So, you know, so basically I'm working in my office or I'm working, sometimes I work in my bedroom now on my like laptop if I need to, if somebody's out here and needs to, because she's been taking classes online.
Mm.
And so sometimes she has presentations she's got to do, but for the most part, this is my office.
Okay. Can
And
you show me around real quick?
I can. I'm trying to think, should I flip it
Yeah,
or
I'd flip it.
let me see. Oh, here's a flip. Okay, cool. So this is actually just a wall. So my can you see my desk?
Yes,
That's my
ma'am.
desk.
Looks very
Um,
nice and organized.
so that's pretty much how I leave it at night. I'm a basket person. So if you see down there, there's the two levels of my desk and there's baskets that is kind of a little junk.
Okay.
And then I have like notebooks and stuff there, and I have other baskets of stuff I'm working on. So
Okay.
usually, and then I love pens and stuff, so I have a lot of pens on my desk. Everything I need there. My calendar is on my desk. Obviously here's my Apple, the big one, and then I have a few like things like my water here or whatever, and stuff I would need immediately like my stapler and my
Hmm.
paper clips and stuff. Over behind me, I have like a little drawers that has, like supplies I need. Not a ton. To be honest with you, I bought this because I wasn't feeling organized and I kind of stick papers places so I don't have to see them. So I'm a hider of junk. But I know I need to file, right? And then behind me, I just have this and my teas there and my vision boards are on the side here. So it's like a little nook for
Hmm.
me here. And then right here, because she came home, I moved this.
A little
Um,
altar. Uh-huh.
yeah, a little altar, and I have all my little cards there and stuff. I don't know if you can see all
Your
the little stuff
finger's
there.
a little bit over the camera, so there we
Oh,
go.
well,
Yeah, it's
let me
okay.
have it there.
Now, what is in the containers underneath that altar? You said
So
you're, is it
there's more cards because I have a lot of like angel cards, healing
oracle cards?
cards,
Okay.
so all of that, and then a little bit of the sage is underneath there, like if I
Okay.
want to grab stuff. And actually, this is a file with our important papers because I just didn't have a place to put that when I moved this. And then I have like a duster and like shakers and
Ah,
stuff like
okay.
that. And then that is a file thing that I need to file things that I have not honestly touched since I moved to this house. It's very disorganized. Okay,
So
and then
okay, so let me just go ahead and pause. So the stuff that's in that one file right there, that file container, those are things that have just been living in there for a while that haven't really been addressed, correct?
right,
Okay.
yep,
All
they
right.
need to be. Yeah, they've just been sitting there in that corner, and I'm just like I keep avoiding it. I know it. And then my printer's outside on the other side of so I'll give you a kind of bird's eye view when you come up into my
Okay.
office. There's the little nook where we all looked at, and that's my desk. And then there's
Okay.
the printer.
Okay.
And then I have, like, that altar was actually over here. It was like against the little railing. On the other
Uh-huh.
side of the railing is obviously our whole living room and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
For the loft. So this is where I would sit and read. I have enough space to like do my yoga, meditation, whatever, just kind of chill out. If I have some girlfriend over or something, we just come up here and sit and
Okay.
just chill. And then I have books over here, my bookshelf. And my
Okay.
bookshelf has on one side, this is more stuff for my own personal growth, and this is stuff kind of my professional is over here. Things that I need for when I'm doing my own business and stuff.
Okay.
And that's that little pile I told you in the corner, but that's coming up from the staircase.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
staircase. So
All right. So let's go ahead and turn back around
okay.
and let's look at your office.
Oh, turn back
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Okay.
You turn yourself around so I can see the office again.
Oh, like this.
Yes. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Okay. So first and foremost, you've got a poison arrow that's coming right at you when you're sitting there. You see how the wall comes together at the
Oh,
point?
right. Oh, yes. Right here.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if there's any way that you can get a hold of a crystal or even like a long streamers to hang from the ceiling to soften that edge, it
Okay.
will help your focus and your ability to concentrate.
Okay. So I have on my desk right here, I have this crystal for now. Could I set that in that corner?
No, it needs to be hanging from the ceiling.
Got you. Okay. That's
Yeah.
a good to know. I
Often sometimes I will ask people to, in fact, that the dream catcher, if you wanted to hang that,
right here. Okay.
yeah, that little dream catcher that's on the brick right now, if you wanted to hang that from the ceiling, that would be a start. I
Okay.
really would recommend, however, one of the larger faceted crystals. You can get those on Amazon. I think there are some other areas where you can get those.
Okay.
Amazon just been my go-to, but I know they're a
And
little
and
over.
and what are they? Just they're called hanging
Just
crystals.
round faceted crystal,
Round. Okay. Got it.
and no smaller than 40 millimeter.
Okay.
50 millimeter would be better, but 40 is fine. Don't do 30. 30 is too small.
Okay.
Now, the other thing too that I'm seeing happening here, go ahead and go over to the railing where where you're going to be sitting,
Okay.
and show me what's on the next to the railing. Go look, point the camera down. Okay. So what's also happening here is that you've got a lot of energy that is escaping through the railings. So I
Okay.
noticed that you had a blanket, a quilt kind of
Uh-huh.
behind the chair. If you can find something that will give you still enough space to sit properly, but then kind of close that off. You're obviously you're in a loft. That's not going to change.
Right.
Unless you choose to hang like a big curtain there, but then that doesn't look very nice. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of the loft. But if you can find another blanket or even some small, skinny plants, they can be real or silk in this case because there's not a lot of light, and you can put them along the base of the railing so that it keeps the
Okay. So
energy
like
from
you
right. Because right now
got
you've got this waterfall of energy that's leaving your space,
right
dumping right
here.
down into the living area. Yeah,
Right here.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do something to kind of cover that. If I put like hang something over.
You can just drape it over the railing, and
Okay.
it could even be like you could actually use that as the cue for the family that when the blanket's there, you're working, don't bug you,
Okay. Oh, okay.
and so that could actually then work into just get bringing more order to the chaos.
Okay. Okay.
Now where you're sitting, I want you to point the camera up, and what is directly above your head. Okay, so you've got,
That one of those vents that you have that delivers
yeah,
air. It goes into the other bedroom, but it goes all the way over me.
right,
Yes.
right. So can you scoot your desk forward just enough so that it's not sitting right on top of your head?
Yes. I could move it up more.
I would recommend that very strongly because sometimes, even though there's a lot of air rushing through there and it's round and it's so the energy kind of flows over it easier than if it was just a big beam. Because I mean, you got some other beams up there, but
Yeah, we have a beam. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not sitting directly underneath that beam, are you?
Okay.
Point this
Mm,
point it up to the ceiling a little bit more. Okay, where you're sitting is not going to be where the beam is. The beam is coming down to the side of the desk, so at least you're avoiding that. You got a
okay.
little bit of that poison arrow thing coming, but the number one thing is we got to move you away from that big the air vent, so you can not have that same kind of pressure down on your head.
Okay.
Do you get a lot of neck aches and headaches?
I do, like right in my shoulder. I've been having that. I've
Mm-hmm.
felt that.
Yeah, by scooting your desk forward and moving away from that the air vent, it's going to put less energetic pressure on your head, which again your shoulders are locking up because they're trying to protect that all that extra pressure on you.
Okay.
So, I mean, again, it
Okay.
doesn't have
Gotcha.
to be like maybe 6 inches, six
Oh,
to eight
yeah, because
inches.
it's not very much that I'm underneath it.
Right.
I was pushed back further, but I found that I wasn't getting, because there's a skyline. I don't know if you see
Uh
the
huh.
skylight in here, and it gives a lot of light when it's daytime. Rather, even when it was snowing, it's very bright in here like that. I have the
Okay.
extra light just because I like more light, but I was pushed back further. So actually, the computer was underneath this more than I was. Does that matter? Like if I pulled myself back and had the computer lined up more, or is it better just to push it all
No,
the way up?
because that kind of squishes you. Actually, here's another idea. Turn around again and show me where your altar is again. Have you ever had your back against that wall?
No, no, I didn't. No, I just put it here because um I had wanted the brick behind me as a drop. But if it's better for me to work with that as a drop, I can do that.
Well, I don't like all the rest of those pipes there. Just try moving your desk forward a little bit more. That
Okay, that's an easier fix.
yeah, it's going to be a much easier fix. Um,
Okay,
yeah, see how that works. If that doesn't feel good, or if the skylight is too bright, then you can go ahead. Then I would recommend trying the other way, so that you have your back against the wall, where you've got that solid wall directly behind you, and then the other wall to your right. um, that actually still gives you a really good power position, so that you're looking over, you're farther away um, from the edge of the loft. You can see more easily who's coming up the stairs, and
okay,
you've got that solid wall behind you.
got it. Okay.
But again, you'll have to this is where you're going to have to play around. Do you know what direction you're facing when you're sitting at the desk right now?
No, I'm so direct. I'm a little bit directly challenged.
That's okay. So
um,
if you can figure out where the sun is rising, um, so most people have some kind of a compass on their phones. They are
oh,
horribly unreliable. I
okay,
mean, horribly unreliable. Um, and so I would recommend is either get a camping compass or something else, like just some other kind of a compass,
mm-hmm.
or just figure out where the sun is rising. Where's the sun
Okay,
rising and where's the sun setting, and then kind of figure out where in your office space you're at. Because the reason why I asked you to give me your birth date is so that I could see which your life star, which qua. Some people call it a qua number, KUA. Others call it a life star. You can go ahead and flip the camera around if you like.
okay,
Um, and you are a 1 star, which means that you have you're very career oriented, but you also are a very deep thinker,
mm-hmm.
and you're incredibly in touch with your intuition. And so
Mm-hmm.
nothing happens until you feel it, you feel the integration. And because of how you do that, um, there may be some decisions that are made that people will go like, MiaMichelle, what seriously, why, what's going on? It's because, well, that's just how it's supposed to be. So you go with the flow. You're a water element. You really know how to adapt and shift, and pivot when that needs to happen. I was also looking too at some of the other energies that are in your chart, and this year there's they call it one of the Chi-Man stars. You've got a double dose this year of something that is called growth, the grass. For this year, your strongest suits are growth hacking, creating, where you're literally creating an entire system from scratch.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, and you've done. I mean, having talked with you before, you've got. I mean, so you still have your daycare in Tucson, and you're expanding now into this community center in, where are you again? Peoria.
Peoria, Illinois. Yes.
Yeah, and so you really are. Again, you're creating stuff from scratch. You are this incredible visionary, and it is all about creating community, which is about that, the customer journey. So when people come to you, no matter which business you're talking about, they know, okay, this is the intake, this is the process, this is what's happening, and this is what you're going to get out of it. So everybody's like, you're telling this great story. Everybody knows when they come in that, okay, these are the possibilities. This is really cool. And so that's that's your genius. That's your brilliance. So you're already working in that, which is really awesome.
Yeah,
Yay.
it is. Good to hear that I'm on the right path. Sometimes you get a little shaky. Like, is this what?
This year is a shaky year. I mean, and so the rat energy is one of resourcefulness. It's a great energy for entrepreneurs. It's a great energy for just figuring out how to make things work, even when in the face of I can't, but it happens. The metal energy of the year is the focus. It's the barriers, it's the boundaries that you're putting around your work. So that's again why I was really focusing again on finding a way to cover that railing so that you can capitalize on that metal energy in a creative manner, because metal energy also focuses a lot on creativity, creative problem solving, generation. I mean, so again, it's the number 7 focus. It's part of the children and creativity sector. That's the kind of the theme this year, that feeling. And let me tell you, I think we're all figuring out ways to get real creative without how to do all this. But because this is also, we've got this weird virus stay at home thing, the great pause. You've got the space now to kind of come up with something new. And so that's why I'm really grateful that you agreed to let me come into your space and help you find a way to make sure that you're not inadvertently limiting yourself.
Right.
Now, can you, so you said you sometimes are working in your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like are you sitting on your bed, or do you have a little chair in there?
I have a chair in there, but typically I'm just sitting on my bed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a way to avoid sitting on your bed,
okay,
that will be better for you, because one of the challenges of working on your bed is then suddenly you now have work energy infused into your bed. Your bed itself really needs to be your haven for sleep, your haven for, fun.
Right. That's why we took the TV out of our bedroom. Like when we moved here, I was like, I refuse to have a television in the bedroom. I was like, no, we're not going to do that.
Girl. So hold on a second. I was going to say, okay, I kind of got off myself. So the other thing that I was going to tell you about is with your life star of being a 1 energy, your favorable directions are southeast. If you want to write these down, your
I got a copy of the recording or no?
A copy of this recording? Absolutely, yes, yes. So
Oh,
you don't
okay.
have to, yeah. So okay, but your favorable directions are southeast, east, south, and north. And the only reason why I was going to have you write them down is because
I'm gonna put my
some,
thing. I'm
well, because
putting
sometimes
in.
people get a little excited before the recording gets there. It's like, oh, we've got to get this now.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No, tell me again. Okay, now I can
okay,
do it because my hands weren't free.
okay, southeast,
Southeast,
east,
east,
south,
south.
and north.
Okay.
Of those, my suggestion is, if at all possible, if you could be facing north, that's your stability
Okay.
direction. But southeast is your life generating direction. South is a longevity direction. All of those are really good. Um, and if you're not facing one of those directions, if your office isn't able to do that, then don't freak out about it. It's the best way to explain this concept of good direction, favorable directions versus unfavorable directions is, I'm right-handed. You can read my handwriting with my right hand. Things move a lot faster. It works much better. I can write with my left hand. It just takes me a lot longer, and it's not as legible, and it's irritating.
Okay.
But I can do it. And
Right.
it's so that's why, if it's just a matter of removing a hurdle. So if there's a way for you to do that, and even if you can't, if you're not sitting in that direction, you find a way to move into, face one of those directions when you're on the phone,
Okay.
or when you're, putting, typing it, texting people, just turn your chair and face that direction. That will help to bring more of the natural earth energy into what you're already doing. You're a very powerful individual, and you're already very much tapped into spirit. So this is just adding an extra element of, oomph.
Yeah,
We
beautiful.
all
I like
we all
that.
need we all need a little extra oomph.
Yeah, for
Uh-huh.
sure.
Uh-huh. So,
And so since I know that now, because I heard that and I heard that, so I sleep next to books, and I was noticing the beautiful bookcases that my friend has in her room, and she had mentioned that you told her to put glass over them because the books speak to you.
yes, yes,
And
they
I
do.
sleep next to my books, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have a big stack of them, and they're all calling to me while I'm sleeping. So now I've got to move those things out of there.
So if it makes you feel any better, I have a stack of books next to my bedside table too, largely because, I've got all these other things that I'm trying to do, and I just forget about it. I'm a feng shui consultant. I'm a human, okay? I mean,
Right.
yeah, I still have, see, I shoved everything over so it's a nice clear space over here, but I'm a horizontal organizer. I love my piles. So you've got your baskets, I've got my piles.
Mm-hmm.
And some days those piles really get overwhelming. But then, at the end of the day, I tidy everything up. So let's go ahead though, and speaking of avoiding things, I actually had to go through and look at what was happening in my space, because I was really having a hard time. I was trying to get my YouTube channel started. The next thing I know, I mean, it's just like every time I try to do this, I would get overwhelmed, and I kept wondering, well, what is going on? I
Mm-hmm.
had to go and take another hard look at my space and look at all the things on the floor that were surrounding me. And all of those were things from the past that I still had unaddressed emotional connections to. And when I
Mm.
went through that, it took me about a week and a half to kind of pull things out and feel all the emotions that were coming up, and deal with them. Um, but then all of a sudden things started really popping. So that might be something to look at if you're feeling stuck in moving something forward, or shifting out of where you're at with either one of these businesses, or who knows how many others you've got going on. Take
Right.
a look at that file folder, at that thing that you haven't looked at yet since you moved, and do it in a time when you can really address the emotions that they come up. Yeah,
Okay.
for me, I was holding an image of a person that caused so much. I was angry, and I hadn't addressed the anger from 6 years ago.
Right.
So see, I still had some of those same piles that hadn't been moved since we moved here. They hadn't been moved since, the thing happened. So yeah, it was like, oh, so if I release the anger and I release the image of the person that I was angry at, that frees us both. What a wonderful thing. And so that's what I'm going to recommend for you. You
Okay.
might actually find that as soon as that happens, even your daughter will be able to learn how to keep things where they're supposed to be.
Okay. Because I'm going to tell you that there's a little bench, and you know that how the benches have, you can lift it up and there's a storage. There's
Yeah.
bags in there too. Like, so I will hide things that I'm like, oh, no, I like things to be neat, but that still is still hiding underneath there. And I'm like, I have to deal with this bag and go through this stuff.
Yeah. So again, full disclosure here. I was doing the same thing under my desk. I couldn't see it. It was behind my thing where I'm storing my printer paper and note cards and things like that. I couldn't see it. It was well hidden, and it was still a bunch of stuff that I just had to look into and look at and allow that to leave. Some of
That's
it
good.
got thrown away, some of it got moved to another part of the house, but everything made more sense where it was. I hadn't really
Okay.
given myself that gift yet. So that's what I'm going to strongly recommend for you.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. Because what's funny is as soon as I started doing all of that, it inspired my husband to go through and clean his office.
Right.
That has been something I have been wanting him to do since we moved here. And that was actually where his office is our wealth corner. It's like, we cannot have a ugly wealth corner. No.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing because when you start to clean up your stuff, because you are who you are, everybody else, they also feel that energy shift, and they then are inspired to, whether they realize it or not, they're also become inspired to start addressing some of their own stuff.
Right. And actually, when I was getting ready for you, I felt even that shift of that stuff that I had been hiding for so long. I said, I really need to get to this. And I hadn't had that, just even leading up to the thought of shifting the energy. I was intuitively feeling like, oh, you know what? I really need to. And I was excited about it, not like the before, like, I have to do this. It was like, I've got it. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I can do
Yay.
that. That's going to help unblock me in other areas because I've got a lot of creating to do right now. I don't have the time to be stuck right now.
And honestly, it takes far less time than you really think too.
Mm-hmm. It
It's
does. Once you
like,
get stuck.
yeah. Because it starts to flow, and then you start to like, oh my God, this feels so good. I'm just gonna throw this away, and I'm gonna, oh, this needs to live with that, and you get to, and action just starts to happen. You
Okay.
put yourself into flow. So, all right. So, do you have any other questions for me, my dear?
No, I don't think so. You said so. I just want to clarify with the direction. So just for facing north is the best. You said for me
For
for
stability,
stability,
right?
and then the life generating is the southeast.
Correct.
So just finding out that. And you said something about wealth corner.
That's
What is that direction for me?
That's actually the southeast. So the
Okay.
southeast is the wealth and abundance sector. The north is career and life path,
Okay.
and so south being longevity. If you're needing to if you need to get more advertising out, if you need to get the word out about something, then south is going to be probably that will be a good direction for you to face, because that's fame and reputation. That's the marketing aspect.
Okay.
That's the networking. That's the, hey, we're going to build this, but I need your help kind of a thing.
Okay. Okay. And then east is just nothing.
East it's called Heavenly Doctor. And so that's a good direction to face if you need some assistance to correct an issue.
Oh, okay.
So if let's say suddenly people are leaving, that they're not signing up, or then you need, there's it's a combination between, you got to bring the marketing in, but if there's a problem that crops up, that would be where you would face east to just to get the inspiration, the flow of, because that's family and ancestors, that's calling on, and as well as legacy building, that's calling on the energy of, let's get this foundation shored back up again.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this has been awesome.
Excellent.
Definitely. I have
Excellent.
to
Well,
find out how
thank
to
you.
do more because I probably need to furniture the rest of my house. You know what? I live in this loft and I have a lot of arrows, I think. I hadn't thought about that living in a loft. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've had to, I've got a couple of arrows pointing at me. I mean, you're just gonna, there's no house that's perfect. And unless you want to go through and retrofit every single corner with those little rounded corners, which ain't nobody gonna do that. Um, that's why I come up with other kind of creative solutions, like the
Okay.
crystal, or hanging the dream catcher, or sometimes a nice tall skinny plant will
Mhm.
work too, or the streamers, getting pretty streamers. If it's I try to be aesthetically pleasing as well as energetically correct, I suppose, if that's the right way to say it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's got to look good.
Right.
It's gotta
That'd be
have
pretty.
it's gotta be pretty, you
Yeah.
know?
Beautiful
Yeah.
is definitely in.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, all
Well,
right.
thank you
Well,
so much. I
so
appreciate your
welcome.
time.
I will send you this as soon as the recording is done so that you have it to refer back to.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, ma'am. Bye.